VCISO.au Cyberwatch, August 14, 2025. Strategic Cybersecurity Intelligence Brief powered by VCISO.au. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay secure. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yellamati, ANZ Ransomware. Victims, none. 1. Critical Fortisium vulnerability under active exploitation. Fortinet has announced a critical vulnerability, CVE 2025-25256, in Fortisium that is actively exploited by attackers in the wild. The flaw, an OS command injection vulnerability, allows unauthenticated attackers to execute arbitrary commands through specially crafted CLI requests. This weakness carries a high severity, with a CVSS score of 9.8 and affects multiple versions from 6.1 to 7.3.1. Fortinet confirmed that exploit code is publicly available, but no clear indicators of compromise, or IOCs, have been identified. The vulnerability enables remote attackers to potentially take full control of Fortisium systems without authentication. Fortinet strongly recommends customers upgrade to fixed versions or migrate to Fortisium 7.4, which is not affected. Additionally, they suggest limiting access to the PH monitor port 7900 as a temporary mitigation. Due to the active exploitation, organizations using affected versions face a significant risk of data breaches and system compromise. This vulnerability highlights the critical need for rapid patch management in security infrastructure components. Fortinet's advisory urges immediate action to prevent further damage and reduce exposure to attackers. Delays in patching could result in attackers gaining persistent footholds or using the compromised Fortisium systems as a stepping stone for lateral movement. The active nature of the exploit means attackers are already targeting vulnerable networks, emphasizing urgency for remediation. VCISO.au recommendation. Immediately update Fortisium to a patched version or migrate to 7.4. Restrict network access to management ports, especially PH monitor port 7900, using firewall and segmentation controls. 2. Hackers leak 2.8 million sensitive records from Allianz Life Salesforce breach. A data breach at Allianz Life has exposed 2.8 million sensitive records, impacting customers, employees, and business partners. The breach was the result of attackers compromising a third-party Salesforce CRM system through social engineering on July 16, 2025. Allianz Life confirmed that a threat actor gained unauthorized access, leading to the theft of personally identifiable information. This breach affects the majority of Allianz's 1.4 million customers, as well as financial professionals and select employees. Allianz has reported the incident to the FBI and is actively investigating the breach. The company emphasized that their internal systems and policy administration network were not accessed. The breach was publicly disclosed via a filing with Maine's Attorney General's office. While Allianz declined to name the threat group, it is suspected to be linked to the notorious Shiny Hunters hacking group. The incident underscores the risks posed by third-party SaaS providers and the importance of securing cloud-based CRM environments. Allianz is notifying affected individuals and providing support services for potential identity theft or fraud. This event highlights the need for strong phishing defenses and continuous monitoring of third-party system access. Organizations should review their vendor security posture and incident response readiness. VCISO.au recommendation. Enforce multi-factor authentication, MFA, and phishing-resistant authentication methods like FIDO2 on all critical SaaS platforms. Regularly assess and monitor third-party vendor access, ensuring the principle of least privilege and continuous access review. 3. SAP, August 2025. Update patches 26 vulnerabilities, including 4 critical flaws. SAP released its August 2025 Patch Tuesday with 15 new security notes and updates to 4 previously released patches, addressing a total of 26 vulnerabilities. Among these, 4 were flagged as critical or hot news, with CVSS scores reaching 9.9. The critical vulnerabilities include code injection flaws in SAP S/4HANA and SAP Landscape Transformation, which allow attackers with user privileges to inject malicious ABAPI code via exposed RFC function modules. These injections bypass normal security checks, risking complete system compromise and data integrity loss. Another significant issue affects SAP Business One, where attackers with valid authentication can escalate privileges to gain database administrator rights, threatening confidentiality and availability. The flaws exist in both cloud and on-premise deployments, widening the impact scope across diverse SAP customer environments. SAP strongly urges customers to apply patches promptly to prevent potential exploitations. The complexity and depth of these vulnerabilities highlight the importance of continuous monitoring and patch management in ERP systems. Organizations should also audit user privileges and restrict unnecessary access to RFC functions. This update reiterates SAP's ongoing challenge of securing business-critical applications against sophisticated attacks. Neglecting these patches can lead to severe operational and reputational damage. VCISO.au. Recommendation: apply SAP security patches without delay and disable unused RFC modules to reduce attack surfaces. Conduct periodic privilege reviews and restrict administrative access to critical SAP components. 4. Microsoft fixes 107 vulnerabilities, including a Windows Kerberos 0-day in August patch. Microsoft's August 2025 Patch Tuesday fixed 107 security flaws across various products, including Windows, Office, Edge, Azure, and more. Among these, 12 were critical vulnerabilities, one being a publicly disclosed Kerberos 0-day, CVE 2025-53779, with a CVSS score of 7.2. This Kerberos flaw allows authenticated attackers with write access to certain DMSA attributes to escalate privileges to domain administrators, posing a severe risk to Active Directory environments. Another critical vulnerability is a heap-based buffer overflow in Windows GDI+, CVE 2025-53766, CVSS 9.8, which allows remote code execution via crafted metafiles embedded in documents or web uploads. This can be exploited without any user interaction, exposing web servers and applications to high-risk attacks. Microsoft's patching addresses a wide range of security issues affecting system confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Organizations running affected systems should prioritize these updates, especially for domain controllers and public-facing services. The complexity and variety of patched vulnerabilities demonstrate the continued threat landscape targeting Microsoft ecosystems. Failure to patch these could lead to unauthorized access, data breaches, and widespread disruption. The update also includes fixes for browsers and cloud services, underscoring the interconnectedness of modern IT environments. VCISO.au recommendation: deploy August 2025 patches immediately, prioritizing domain controllers and critical servers. Implement layered defense controls such as endpoint detection and document filtering to block malicious file uploads. 5. New downgrade attack can bypass FIDO authentication in Microsoft Entra ID. Researchers have revealed a novel downgrade attack targeting Microsoft Entra ID that undermines FIDO authentication by tricking users into fallback login methods. Though FIDO itself remains secure, attackers use adversary-in-the-middle phishing tools like EvilGinks to intercept session cookies once users authenticate through weaker channels. This bypass allows attackers to hijack sessions, bypassing the robust phishing-resistant benefits of FIDO passkeys. As FIDO adoption grows in high-security environments, this downgrade vulnerability highlights gaps in fallback authentication flows. FIDO passkeys use cryptographic key pairs, with private keys never leaving the user's device, preventing interception during normal authentication. However, fallback to less secure methods leaves users vulnerable to sophisticated phishing attacks. This attack demonstrates that system-wide security depends not only on strong authentication, but also on enforcing strict policy controls around fallback options. Organizations using Microsoft Entra ID and similar identity providers must carefully manage authentication policies. User education and detection of phishing attempts remain critical. This issue serves as a caution that no authentication method is foolproof if fallback paths are weak. VCISO.au recommendation: Configure Microsoft Entra ID to disable or strictly control fallback authentication methods. Deploy advanced phishing detection and monitoring tools to identify adversary-in-the-middle attack attempts. 6. Multiple GitLab vulnerabilities. Enable account takeover and stored XSS attacks. GitLab has released critical security updates addressing multiple vulnerabilities that could lead to account takeovers and stored cross-site scripting (XSS) attacks. The most severe issue, CVE 2025-6186, enables authenticated attackers to inject malicious HTML code into work item names, potentially compromising other users' accounts. Additional high-severity XSS vulnerabilities impact the blob viewer and label descriptions across various GitLab versions, with CVSS scores of 8.7. These flaws allow stored XSS attacks, which can execute arbitrary scripts in victims' browsers. Beyond XSS, GitLab patched privilege escalation bugs, allowing maintainers to manipulate shared infrastructure resources beyond authorized limits, risking denial-of-service attacks on CI/CD pipelines. Other vulnerabilities permit deletion of confidential issues or unauthorized access to private artifacts. The affected versions include GitLab CE EE 14.2 to 18.2.2. GitLab.com has already applied fixes, but self-managed installations must urgently update to prevent exploitation. These issues underline the importance of maintaining up-to-date software and strict role-based access control to minimize damage from compromised accounts. GitLab recommends immediate upgrades and thorough review of permissions. VCISO.au recommendation: upgrade all GitLab installations to the latest patched version without delay. Enforce the principle of least privilege and audit maintainers' permissions regularly. Ransomware exposure list: last 24 hours, United States, US, Advanced HPC, Litchfield Cavo, LLP, Epperson Law Group, Assisted Living Pharmacy Service, LLC, Sync ADD, Atna Incorporated, Box Elder County, FFS.com, Flavor and Fragrance Specialties, Northern Construction Service, LLC, Bell Vernon Area School District Algeria, DZ, Cevital Brazil, BR, EB Pharmaceutica. United Kingdom, GB, MMA Transfers Germany, DE, Hager and Schmidt Logistics Trinidad and Tobago, TT, Venture Credit Union. Final note from VCISO.au. Australia and New Zealand remain relatively untouched this week, but the global threat landscape continues to shift. Critical infrastructure, software supply chains, and endpoint security are under siege. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yellamati.